Hey everybody, welcome to the first of 4 kind of micro reviews on Doomtown Reloaded. Now in this one I'm going to talk about the Law Dogs deck, and in the following 3 I'm going to talk about the other 4 decks that come with the base set. So first we can see here the Law Dogs, a home location. This one has the ability boot. Choose a dude, boot your dudes with a total influence greater than the dude's influence, and you raise the bounty on that dude by 1. So you can see there's a few other cards in here that combo with that, so you maybe will stack some of those possibly, maybe stack a bunch of bounties from this card even on a character, and then kind of go in and maybe try to ambush them to get some extra money there. It's pretty cool. So here we have Zhang Wendy Chang, and you can see we can use her ability here during a shootout. We've got a booter, we send an opposing dude home booted. So this can be very handy to get sort of a high power character out of a shootout. This is a cool one. I like this one quite a bit. It's concealed weapons. You can see it. You got this gal here with a knife under her skirt, and if you play this for the rest of that turn, you may use shopping as a shootout play and at any location. So you can play this, and then players will know that you've got somebody with a concealed weapon possibly that's going to come out, and you can surprise, equip somebody with a shotgun or something like that during a shootout itself. This can be very effective here. You can see this is a job here, and this will kind of trigger off some of this bounty stuff. So you can mark a holy ground deed. If successful, discard all abominations, and the abominations will exist in the current decks, the 4th ring deck, and wanted dudes at that deed. So that's something that anybody that has wanted dudes or maybe magic decks will be on the lookout for him. This card here I could see just about any deck, maybe even as a staple. During a shootout, you can choose a dude in the shootout. That dude gets -2 bullets and becomes a draw instead of a stud. So I can see that being played quite a bit in a lot of decks to sort of throw against somebody during a shootout. This is an interesting card here. You can see it's the town hall location. It's got 2 control, and then you can do a react. So at the start of the upkeep phase, choose a dude at this location, lower that dude's upkeep by their influence. So you can put some folks here to start your turn off with, and then lower the amount of upkeep that they're going to cost you. And it's also 2 control, so you probably will have dudes there anyway protecting that location. This is a great card here, Sheriff Dave. Now he's got 3 influence, which is quite a bit. He's got 3 stud bullets, which are quite a bit. And if your opponent in Dave's shootout reveals a cheat in hand and you do not, your dudes cannot be casualties that round. So that's going to be very powerful to stave off a slaughter if that happens. But you've also on the other hand got some good offensive capabilities with Sheriff Dave. Here you can raise a dude's influence by noon. Of course that can be great. Maybe just you need that 1 extra influence to take over a location, or maybe even get the win this turn. Here we've got a pair of 6 shooters. This is interesting. So when you resolve a cheating resolution on one of your opponents, 1 card in your draw hand changes to the suit and value of your choice. So that can be very interesting to maybe get that extra rank that you need during a draw on a shootout. This is a good one for fishing through your deck. Pony Express, discard a card to draw a card. So a lot of times, maybe you don't have any locations. You want to get some locations out. You want to get some characters out. You want to get some weapons out. You can go and fish for that. So that's a nice card to have. Another example of that here is Lady Luck. So you can play this. You can discard as many of your cards as you like during sundown, because normally you can discard 1 card out of your hand. So sometimes you can get kind of locked into a not so pleasant hand to deal with. This will help you get around that. Another sun in your eyes. This is an interesting character here. This is a sidekick character, Blue Tick the dog. And the idea of this card can be discarded to cover 1 casualty. So this is basically an equipment card. You can see it's a heart. So it's not a character. And then as a special ability is also move this dude to the same location as a wanted dude. So you can take and combo that then again by putting bounties on people. You can have Blue Tick go and sniff them out. And then not sure how much I like this. If you take a casualty, well, Blue Tick can take the hit. So I don't know about that, but this is a nice kind of utility weapon here, Peacemaker. It gives you +1 bullet there. And then also this dude cannot be changed to a draw. If they're a stud, you can protect that ability, and cannot have their bullets lowered by another player's shootout. This one I would definitely put on the Sheriff because he doesn't need a lot of help in the special ability department, and this is a nice way of protecting him, and somewhat thematic, it's the Peacemaker. This is a very interesting card. I'm surprised this one doesn't cost money to play. As a reaction, after you take casualties for losing a round of a shootout, you do a pull. Again, you just pull a card off the top of the deck and look at the value. For each deed you have still in the posse with a value higher than the pull, the winner takes 1 casualty. So, you know, that's a way to really get back at somebody who was trying to jack you up. This is an interesting one. I used this to grid ability here the other day. Establishing who's in charge. Mark an in-town deed. And again, these are jobs. They're almost like shootouts at a location, if you're not familiar with the game. Instead of a shootout on a person, it's a shootout either at a location where you're at or possibly adjacent to, and then you can go there, and if you're successful, the deed permanently gains a control point. So that's a way to maybe set some bait on somebody else's location and then move your guys in, or maybe in a position where you have guys already there. This one I've seen used quite a bit. So cheating resolution, so if they'd show a cheating hand, discard the cheating player's hand, replace it with the top 5 cards of your deck. So you hold on to this sucker, they play their 5 of a kind, and they're just going to destroy you. You have to discard like 4 guys or whatever. You play this, and then that will just change the tide drastically. Love that one. Another one to add bounties and wanted onto players. Choose a private deed you own. Other players' dudes there must move home booted or gain 1 bounty each. So another way to get folks off your back, and also to combo with some of the other ways to put bounties on players. Another way to cycle through your deck. The controller of this deed may discard 1 additional card each sundown phase. So another way to get more cards down. It's also a saloon, and there's another gallon here that will combo off of the saloon. Here is the railroad station. So you can do this, you can boot this, move your dude from this location to another location without booting. So it's a way to kind of jump them and get them far away. Pretty cool. And you know, the controller also can do it. So if you control this, you can also do it to maybe jump back home really quickly or something. Another whole law themed gal here. If your opponent in Lucy's shootout reveals a cheating hand, raise the bounty on each dude in their posse by 1. So she will act as kind of a deputy there, I guess. Another pair of 6 shooters. Mist. This one is, I've actually used this to some effect. So during a shootout, you can unboot one of your dudes in this posse, which is nice because if you send all your guys in for backup, then you know that you don't really have a lot to do with your characters that turn. This can untap one of your guys, unboot, and get them, you know, able to maybe participate in a shootout of their own or go do something else. I like this one here because this is one way to manipulate some cards that maybe you drew for a shootout, but you wanted to actually get into play. So place a dude from your discard pile in your hand. Probably would pack 4 of these in every single deck I have, but you know, we'll see. This is an interesting one. 2 control points. Bank of California. Players cannot take Ghost Rock from the bank's controller. Haven't really seen that come up too much. I expected it would, but for some reason I haven't. This one here, Bounty Hunter, a 2-stud gunslinger enters play. The gunslinger calls out a dude and who cannot refuse. So that's cool. So this guy basically comes into play. It's a little token card. There's a few of these. So it's not a bad, you know, he's 2 studs, 0 influence, and you can sort of send him out far away and then go and kind of hunt that guy down. So that's a pretty interesting card, this Bounty Hunter. Another hand size manipulation with this, First Baptist Church. Raise the controller's hand size by 1. That's very nice. Another way to manipulate the shootout, boot your dude in this posse to send a dude in the other posse home. Your dude gets -1 bullets. So that's another way to get one of those maybe shotgun toting outlaws out of the way. Ace a card in your hand to gain 1 Ghost Rock. I don't know about this one. You have to blow away a card in your hand permanently to get a buck. But that could get you in a pinch if you need to, you know, get a special character out or something. Another one to manipulate shootout, reduce a dude's bullets by their influence. The dude's controller may move them home booted. Another one of those. Judge Harry Somerset. Harry leads a job, marks a wanted dude. If successful, ace the mark. So it's a way to kind of take out somebody possibly that is really causing you trouble, because normally the opponent has to decide who they're going to get rid of, but this guy can go in and you can basically target somebody directly, remove them from good. Another missed card. Andreas Andrade is a deputy, he's a mad scientist. He's decent, he's got 2 influence in one of those. So you could splash him because he is a law dog, but he's got, you know, he can invent things, but he's just not very good at it. Raise or lower the bounty on a wanted dude by 1. This is interesting because one of the things about adding bounties with this deck, when I talk about the Sloan Gang deck in the next video, they want bounties on them. It makes them more powerful. So playing this against this Sloan Gang is an interesting conundrum. Another bounty hunter. Here's Tommy Harden's, another cheating idea here. If your opponent in Tommy's Shootout reveals a cheat in hand, raise your draw hand rank by 1. If your draw hand is also legal, raise it by 2 instead. That can be very cool because if you're playing against somebody that's cheating and they just outrank you, this guy will help you catch that up. Another blue tick, another Bank of California. Here's Olivia Jenks, very straightforward character. 2 influence, 2 draw bullets. She's got a upkeep for some reason, even though she's pretty generic. Another Lady Luck here. You can discard cards. Another Olivia. Let's see here. Point blank. So during a resolution, you can boot a stud dude in your posse. Your opponent must ace a dude in their posse with lower bullets than your dude's bullets. So even though the outcome of the shootout might have been one thing, you can get this guy with his gun in his face and take somebody out at the last minute. Another hot lead flying similar to this one. Peacemaker, Pony Express. There, I was getting to the characters there. Prescott's bullets and influence are equal to the number of law dogs at his location, including himself. So he's always a 1-1 here, but you get him out at the beginning of the game with 4 or 5 total law dogs there. He's quite the formidable force. Fortunately, he's a draw instead of a stud, but of course that would be pretty strong if he was a stud. Lucinda again. Here's Philip. Each time a player reveals a cheat hand and your hand is legal, you may discard a card from your play hand to draw a card. Another way to kind of cycle your deck. The rules have you actually bring him out as one of your starting characters at the beginning. Point blank. And last card here, Clyde calls out a dude at his location. A wanted dude cannot refuse the call out. So there's another idea of wanting to get people with bounties on them. And he is a pretty good in terms of 3 stud bullets and 2 influence. So that is the Law Dogs deck in about 15 minutes. So hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, and look forward to the next video. I'll have the links in the descriptions. Thanks again.